What's happening, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Mom and Papa Joe. We've got some dino ribs on the menu today. I think it's been about 2 years since we last did some. Let's get this done. So here's this rack of dino ribs. Beef short ribs, prime, fat cap fully intact. Let's get it open, dry it off, and see what we're looking like. Not a whole lot of trimming, prep work to do. I will only buy dino ribs, man, where the fat cap is mostly intact, the way this one is. All I'm gonna do here is just try to take off some of the heavy areas of fat. And folks, I'm here to tell you, if you have never cooked a rack with the fat cap on, you really ought to try it. The fat cap really does wonders to help you retain moisture, renders and crisps nicely. Now, I also will tell you that it can hinder your smoke ring. If that is something that you're really into, yes, oh my goodness. I did not want to do that, but I did. Not the end of the world. So aside from my little gouge, everything is good to go. We're pretty dry, so I'm going to be looking at a bit of a mustard binder. Very little. The membrane has been removed from this. I did not remove it. I usually prefer to keep it on all the way around. Today we're going to be rocking that 1836 beef rub from Sucker Busters. Nice and hearty. Large granules of black pepper to help with the development of that bark. Look at that. That's beautiful. I always like to start on the sides. And again, this is going to be a fairly long cook. Do not hesitate to really pack this on here. Now, you'll hear people tell you it's not important to season the backside. Nah, you do. You want all sides to taste good. All right, we're going to call that good. We're going to do a little cleanup and head outside and get our Traeger going. All right, folks, our 850 is preheated 250 degrees. I'm going to use my top shelf today. I normally use the bottom shelf, but I'm trying to save on cleanup. Our ribs have a nice sweat going. If you wanted to cook this faster, you definitely can. Crank it up to 275 or even 300, but I'm keeping it at 250. Nice and slow, get some good rendering. I probably won't be back out here for another 3 hours or so. 3 hour mark, folks. Let's take a look. Oh, we're coming along nicely. Starting to get that rendering and that pullback. That side right there is the one that always shrinks where all that good fat is. Bark is starting to set nicely. We're not spritzing. We're not doing anything. Folks, this is not a difficult piece of meat to cook. A lot of people are intimidated because of its size. But man, it's so forgiving. It's absolutely about putting it on that grill, that pit, and letting it do its thing. Get you one. We're going to come back out here maybe another 2 hours or so and see if we need to do anything, maybe a little spritz. But we're going to ride this out maybe between 7 and 8 hours or so. We're not in any rush. 5 hour mark, folks. Let's take a look. All right, I'm starting to see that usual cracking of that fat cap rendering. I see a little flaking of our bark. So that's a great indication that it's probably time to put a little spritz on here. We're just going to soften that up a little bit. I don't want it running off. Let's see what's happening on the back side. I'm going to come back out here in another hour and get a temp. Aside from that, we're tracking. 7 hours, folks. Oh yeah. Man, you see, I haven't spritzed on anything since that first spritz. And you can see how that bark just laid back down after it was starting to flake. All right, we're 182. And man, she probes nicely. This is going to be one of those cases where Again, because I'm cooking at a lower temperature, I'm gonna finish at a lower temperature. In here, I still got just a little bit of resistance right here, and that is pushing 186. So I'm gonna let this go maybe another half hour or so. I'm not gonna do anything, not gonna touch the bark, not gonna spritz. We're on line for maybe 7.5 hours. All right, folks, we're just shy of 8 hours, and I think we're finally where we need to be. It's probing like butter. We're pushing 198. This is what I'm talking about, that lower temperature cook, finishing at a lower temperature. So I'm gonna pull this right around that 198. And we're gonna give this maybe a good half an hour's rest or so before we cut into it. I don't know how the sunlight is playing on it, man, but it is looking beautiful. In the sun, out of the sun. In the sun, out of the sun. All right, folks, we've given this just about 45 minutes, man. When I press down and I see that rendered juice coming out of there, you can't beat it. Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Let's see what we're working with here. That is beautiful. Oh, folks. Man, let's see what these are tasting like. Wow, that is tasty. That bark is good. And folks, this is that membrane. When it's nicely seasoned, man, it's crispy. I love that. A little more bark, mama. Folks, I'm gonna save that one. That's that middle bone. I'm planning on doing some ramen, and I want to save this. But folks, this is just so juicy, so tender. With just a press of the tongue against the roof of your mouth, man, it falls apart. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. A long cook, but long because I intended it that way. Just about 8 hours. I'm here to tell you, it's the way to go. Simple seasonings. Set it and forget it on the Traeger. You got to get one of these. Don't let this scare you. Don't let this intimidate you. I want to thank you guys and gals as usual for hanging out with Mom and Papa Joe. We really appreciate it. Be on the lookout for another video coming very soon. And as always, Mom and I want you guys to take care of yourselves, love each other, and we'll see you when we see you. Holla.